In 1973, the world was teetering on the edge of controlled chaos. Amidst the seismic aftershocks of the Yom Kippur War, two men, Henry Kissinger and Hafez al-Assad, met in Damascus. Their meeting was brief, dense and paradoxical, a collision of worldviews that would ripple through history, shaping the Middle East and beyond in ways neither could fully grasp. Hafez al-Assad, Syria's inscrutable leader, was a man forged in survival. His regime, built on brutality, control and fear, sought a singular vision, a unified Arab world capable of standing against Western dominance. For Assad, violence was not senseless. It was a grim necessity, the cost of resisting an international order designed to humiliate and fragment the Arab world. Yet Assad's Syria was fragile. It was a precarious mosaic of sectarian divisions held together by his iron grip. Among its fractures were the hundreds of thousands of displaced Palestinians, stateless and restless. To Assad, their presence was a double-edged sword, a threat to Syria's cohesion, but also a symbol of the Arab world's collective failure and a potential rallying cry for solidarity. Henry Kissinger, the American maestro of realpolitik, arrived in Damascus, carrying a different vision. To Kissinger, the world was not a place of ideals, but of systems, vast, intricate, and precarious. He saw the Middle East not just as a theatre for justice or redemption, but as a set of volatile components in a global machine that had to be kept running. His goal was simple yet audacious: impose a new balance of power that would ensure the stability of American hegemony. Kissinger called it diplomacy, but it was more akin to engineering. His tools were alliances and betrayals, promises and exclusions. Peace, in his hands, was not the absence of war. It was the quiet hum of a system operating efficiently, a controlled hostility where no single force could disrupt the equilibrium. In their Damascus meeting, the subject was ostensibly peace, but it was a peace defined by Kissinger's terms.
I just wanted to express my appreciation to the President and to the Foreign Minister for receiving me. We had a session this afternoon and a longer session this evening, and we also reviewed the prospects of peace in the Middle East in an overall perspective.
The Palestinians, whose plight underpinned so much of the region's instability, were deliberately left out of his plans. Kissinger knew that addressing their grievances might unify the Arab world, a dangerous prospect for his carefully managed global order. Instead, he brokered a deal between Egypt and Israel, splitting the Arab bloc and leaving Assad isolated. Assad saw through the deception too late. When the promised resolution for the Palestinians failed to materialize, his rage boiled over. He retreated into a dark cynicism, his earlier visions of unity and resistance replaced by a single focus on survival and revenge. The demons, he reportedly said, have been released. Those demons of sectarianism, betrayal and mistrust did not stay buried. They erupted in waves of violence and instability, reshaping the region into a labyrinth of fractured alliances and endless conflict. Assad's Syria became the linchpin of this chaos, a grim mirror reflecting the larger disarray of the Arab world. But the real legacy of that meeting was not just in the Middle East. It was in the crystallization of a new kind of politics, one that no longer sought to change the world, but to manage it. Kissinger's vision of stability as an end in itself would go on to define the global governance in the decades that followed. It was a philosophy that brought order but stripped the world of purpose, reducing nations and peoples to mere components in a vast, unfeeling system. And so the meeting ended. Kissinger returned to Washington, Celebrated as a master strategist, Assad remained in Damascus, embittered and brutal. Yet the battle between their visions of a world driven by ideals versus one bound by control did not end. It lingers still in the chaos of the Middle East and the cold machinery of global politics. What they began in that room was the story of today, a world where leaders no longer govern but manage, where peace is not liberation but suppression, and where the faint whirring of the machine drowns out the cries for justice. In Damascus, a meeting that never truly ended set the course for a world that still struggles to escape its shadow.